We're looking at content vocabulary, text features. We're thinking about what is the main idea I'm learning, the text structures that the author is using, and of course, we're looking at the author's craft moves. So let's just remember what we read yesterday. We were reading about this Tea Act and how it was making a lot of people unhappy because the British East India Company was going to be able to sell tea to the colonists, putting all the other American tea companies out of business. So let's continue reading. Let's see what else we're finding out today. Other tea companies weren't happy about the Tea Act, of course, but the American colonists viewed it as another example of taxation without representation. I've seen this before in other books about the American Revolution, so I'm thinking that this is an important quote to remember, so I'm just going to underline it. In effect, the Tea Act was putting a tax on tea sold by companies other than the East India Company. Also, I'm noticing this is one of the effects. It's putting a tax on teas sold by other companies. As with the Stamp Act and other unpopular taxes, they were all voted in by Parliament. Oh, Parliament, that's an important word I'm going to circle and I'm going to make sure to use whenever I'm explaining about the British Crown and how they're making the rules, which was thousands of miles away, and the American colonists had no way to influence the law or speak out against it while it was being debated in government. Now I understand what taxation without representation means. I'm going to draw an arrow to show that this part's connecting back to that part and it's explaining to me. Basically, it means that the American colonists were being taxed and other laws were being created for them, yet they had no way to speak up or influence against these laws. So they basically were just told what to do, and they were never asked their thoughts, and they never had a chance to vote. So now I understand why people were very upset about it. Let's continue reading. From anger to action. So they're angry. Let's see if they're going to take action now. So the colonists were angry. They wanted to do something else to let the British know about the unhappiness that the Tea Act was causing. Some people wanted to keep things non-violent. Others wanted bloodshed. The result was somewhere in the middle. Okay, so I see that they really wanted to protest against this. Some people are keeping things non-violent, just protesting, but others wanted to become a little more violent. A group of colonists determined to make things change was the Sons of Liberty. So this is a group of colonists, Sons of Liberty. I never really, I've heard their name before, but I don't really know a lot about it. And now I see that over here, there's a sidebar that explains to me the Sons of Liberty. So before I continue reading the rest of the text, I want to take a look at what I can learn from the sidebar over here. So let's start reading. The Sons of Liberty. As relations with Britain worsened, a secret society of patriots decided to start taking action. Now I understand it's a secret society of patriots. And I know the word patriots is just another word that means the colonists that were against the British Crown. So I'm just going to write that. In Boston, in early summer of 1765, a group of shopkeepers and artisans who called themselves the Loyal Nine began preparing for agitation against the Stamp Act. And I see that agitation is in bold words, so before I continue reading, let's see what that word means down here. Agitation, the act of attempting to stir up public opinion for or against something. So basically they wanted to start bringing up the things that were making them unhappy. Okay, so they started to talk against the Stamp Act. This group, led by Sam Adams, came to be known as the Sons of Liberty. Members of the secret organization were not the leading men of Boston, but rather workers and tradesmen. The idea found success in many colonies. After the initial organizations in Boston and New York, by the end of 1765, the Sons of Liberty existed in every colony. So they're growing. I'm noticing here that the number of them is really growing. Now they're in every colony. After the Stamp Act was repealed a year after it was passed, the Sons of Liberty disbanded. So to band means to put together. So I'm guessing the word disbanded means that they broke apart. But the patriot spirit and the name remained. Groups of men, such as the ones who dumped the tea into Boston Harbor, were called Sons of Liberty. This painting by F.A. Chapman shows the raising of a liberty pole in a village center on a festive occasion. There are many spectators, including some disgruntled loyalists. In the background, several men are removing a sign bearing the image of King George. So we have your patriots who are colonists against the British crown, but we have your loyalists who are staying loyal to the British crown. So they were supporting the British. So this image up here they're talking about shows some people were loyalists. Maybe this person here, look at the way she's like sort of holding a handkerchief, kind of looks upset. And then we have a group of people here. I'm guessing these are the patriots who are putting up a liberty pole and they are stirring up something over here. Okay, now I understand. So the Sons of Liberty were part of the Boston Tea Party. As I continue reading, I'm going to keep that in mind.